Hey, it's Saturday. That means we're going to spend some time with God. Welcome to Saturdays with God with your girl, Ashley Renee. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get started. Good morning and, good day, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to Saturdays with God. I'm so glad you made it back, or welcome for the first time. I'm happy you're here. Today, let me back up. The last couple of weeks we've been talking about my end of slavery of fear in my life. Today, I'm going to tell you about me. As I know some people are watching, maybe you've known me my whole life. Maybe you just met me. Or maybe you have no clue who I am and this just popped up on your feed and you're like, who is this chick? Okay. So, first and foremost, my name is Ashley Renee Spivey. I am born and raised from Atlanta, Georgia. I began writing when I was in kindergarten, I think. I remember writing my first poems, writing my first short story. It might not have been anything super significant, but we had to do a book of poetry. It was either first grade or kindergarten. I loved writing. I didn't know it was something that I was destined to do or really supposed to do, but it was my thing. You know what I mean? You remember those times like this is my thing, this is what I do. And so I never thought about it. Never gave it a second thought. In 7th grade, I wrote a book. It was called Me, Michael Jackson, and the Boys. A whole story. Like I was in love with one of the boys. And if you don't remember the boys, it was like, down my heart. Them boys. Okay. So that was my first introduction to writing. Now that was my first book, I should say. Going forward in my life, I kept journals I have them from like 8th grade until today. And I still have them. And sometimes I go back and read them. And sometimes it's like, wow, that's what was going through your head at 12. Other times it's like, what was going on with you? Why am I telling you all of this? I am not a minister, not in the ordained sense. We all are ministers in the sense that if you are a believer, your job is to minister to the lost. Your job is to recycle or be fishers of men. In that regard, yes, I'm a minister, but I'm not ordained in anyone's church, anything like that. So the question comes to mind of like, who told you to do this? Why are you doing this? Where did Saturdays with God come from? Okay, so I told you about my very first book that was never published. There was a young lady who was in school with me. She also wrote a book. And she was her dad helped her with it. Like, it was published in the library at school, and I remember feeling so inadequate against her book. I never read it. I don't know what it was about. But she was successful in it. I was not. And that was the first time, the first chipping away at me in regards to my writing. Fast forward on, I've written a few plays for church, various churches, little skits and things like that. And they were very, I could say, successful. People's lives were changed. People got saved. People came to the altar. That's success to me. Like it meant something to somebody. That's success. It was just one person. Even if it was just one person, it was successful. But outside of that, like there was a major calling on my life to write, and has been. And what I realize now, it was more than just writing. We all have something that God has destined us that I need you to do this. Nobody else can do what I need you to do. People might be similar in it. He may have more than one person doing it, but still the way you do it, nobody else is going to do it that way. And that's the truth. So when you don't do it, it leaves a gap. It leaves a hole. So back to my story. So that was in 7th grade when I wrote my book, and then my classmate wrote her book, and her book got published. So I stopped writing. That was the first time. And then I started back writing around 13 or 14. Really dove into it after my father passed away, because I could not express to anyone what I was feeling, what I was thinking, what was going through my heart and my mind and my soul. I couldn't express those things, but I could write them down easily. I continued to write. I would get one of those, those Dollar Tree Sterno books, or well, they're not Dollar Tree anymore. Like, you can get them at Walmart for like 25 cents when it's back to school time. 15 cents sometimes. And they've started making them in colors, but they usually are black and white. So I have like hundreds of those. And I would get one every semester, every time I fill one up. And sometimes I wouldn't even finish one. I would just go get another one. So I have a lot of those. Around my senior year in high school and going into my freshman year in college, I really began to write down or use my books as my diary. They weren't my diary before. They were just my expressions. But then I began to use it as my diary. And all of this is just my background story of how I got to where I am, or how I got to Saturdays with God. So basically, they became my secret keeper. This is a problem. Sidebar. This is a problem because when you write your secrets down, when you don't use God as your secret keeper, then you may end up, somebody might find it, and your secrets become told. And that's what happened for me. Someone found a book, they read it, and then they proceeded to tell me that they read it. Now, at the time, I did not understand what they were telling me. What they were saying was, I read your book, and you are a wonderful writer, is what they were saying. I heard, I am now your secret keeper. I know all your secrets. Lord Jesus. I stopped writing. Because clearly, I didn't hear the good part of what they were trying to tell me. All I heard was, I read all your secrets. And I thought to myself, I can't write this stuff down. I can't tell nobody what I'm feeling and thinking. I mean, all of that is private. Move forward. And I had to get back to journaling. Because, again, I could not express what I was feeling, thinking. It's either you're not going to understand, I'm not going to say it right, it's going to be misunderstood. So many issues with me trying to express myself. And at this time, counseling wasn't an option. So I wasn't going to counseling either. So I began writing again. But something was different. I started writing a story. That story just started becoming chapters. And just so you understand, when I say I started writing, I started typing. I was the secretary for this story. Because every morning, God would wake me up and he would say, write, 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 write. And he would drop it down inside of me to the point where I would be typing so fast, I could not keep up and my hands would cramp up. And I would say, oh, please, slow down, slow down. That turned into my first published book called Step Off the Edge. Available on Amazon. But it is available on Amazon if you want to check it out. I'll put a link below in the description. I always wanted to say that. Okay. But after I wrote it, there was this massive attack on me as a writer that I thought all I did was write a book. Why are you coming for me? I had a woman, my mother was so excited and she was very supportive and she was selling the book. Now, don't get me wrong, she wasn't out there like, hey, get the book. But she would put it on her desk at work. And so if you came by, you asked about it, she would tell you, hey, it's only $12.95. Get you one. You can get one. It's $12. And so she would sell the book. And I went to her job one day and a lady, she said, that's my daughter who wrote the book. And the lady said, oh, you wrote the book. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, well, how long had you been working on it? Now, remember I said God was every morning like, just pouring it down. And I said, about 3 months. Now, what she didn't know and what I did not explain is that the first part of the book or the first half of the book, I wrote and it was like 6 months, a year, something like that, where I would just dabble. And I wouldn't, it was my secret. So nobody knew I was writing a book. I didn't tell anybody I was writing a book. I showed it to a friend of mine. We'll call her Cece. Hey girl. And she said, she read it, the little bit that I showed her. She said immediately, we were sitting at Waffle House. She said, where's the rest of it? That's it. She said, no. I need you to finish this. And I was like, well, I was just kind of, nope, friend, you got to write this. This is good. Okay. And one day I was riding on my way to work and I went over a speed bump in the parking lot. And at the same time, I was trying to get a CD out of my computer. So I was fiddling with the computer, went over the speed bump, and the computer was halfway on and it erased my hard drive. Now I know what you're thinking. What? Listen, okay? Listen. I was at work crying like somebody had died. At the time, I think one of my family members was in the hospital. So they were like, oh my gosh, is your family member died? And I was like, no, my computer hard drive got erased. I was in the Bible searching for a word. Lord, encourage my soul, Jesus. I need something. And he took me to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And I thought, that's not what I want to read. Because it said, even if he doesn't, he's still God. Computer. No. I'm sorry, I'm being super dramatic. It just wasn't what I wanted to hear. And all the Lord said was start again. So the 3 months that I told the lady was the 3 months where God said start again. And I didn't have to start completely from scratch. I had emailed maybe the first 6 chapters. And there are 30 some odd chapters in the book. So I had emailed the first 6 chapters. And God says, start from there. Like, start again. It's okay. So every morning after that, it was this whoosh. Write the book. write the book, write the book, write the book, write the book. It's like, okay. He would give me a sentence in the morning, and he would just all day write the book, write the book. Now, I'm going to pause right here. If God is waking you up every day and he's saying the same thing to you because he is persistent, if he say you better do it, he not going to let it go. And how much does he love you that he keep waking you up every morning? He keeps saying this, go back to school. Write the cookbook. Repent. Fast and pray. Come talk to me. Whatever it is that God is telling you to do, call your mama. Call your cousin. Whatever it is, forgive that person. But if he's constantly saying the same thing over and over and over again, you better do it. Because when God goes silent, it is not pretty. And you don't want that. How you say? You don't want that smoke. You don't want it. Okay, so he was whoosh, whoosh, every day. And so because of that, excuse me, it ended up being 3 months that it took me to write the book. When I said this to the lady, the look on her face made me, she said, 3 months. She said, I've been working on a book for 6 years. Everything in me said, maybe you ought to stop. But in that moment, like the jealousy that came, and then she started saying negative things to me. But she wasn't the only one. I went to a book signing, and I was so excited. I took my cousin with me, because my cousin was like, wait, you going to a book signing? Whose book? Mine. What? You ain't told nobody? I'm going. And I'm so glad he went with me, because these women, it was a round table, so they were able to ask questions and things like that. These women, these very godly women, ripped me to shreds. They genuinely ripped me to shreds. And I stopped writing. This was probably 2014. At the same time, I was heartbroken from so many things. So much turmoil was going on in my life. And it wasn't that God was silent as much as he wasn't saying a whole lot, but he was talking. And maybe I wasn't listening all the way. I don't know. Heartbreak, fear, all of that was in the way. I stopped writing, and I kept trying to go back to it. And I kept getting further and further away. It was almost like I got in a boat and I started pedaling away from shore. And the moment I'm just in the ocean, just like, no, I'm getting away from it. I'm not doing it anymore. And the moment I said, okay, maybe I should go back, I was too far out. I was too far out. So I couldn't row against the current of life. I couldn't row against I'm trying to get back. I can't get back. So 2016 is when I started, December 2016. I have to check the timeline on it. Anyway, somewhere around there. November, October, something like that. I went on a trip. I was supposed to go on a trip with a guy friend. He bailed on me. But we had already paid the money I had already paid the money. So I said, I'm going. So I drove up to Tennessee, Gatlinburg. Got in the hotel. And in that moment, God said, just write. Just come talk to me. Just start. Just start again. So I started, and it was a Saturday. And he said, come talk to me every Saturday. So that's what started Saturdays with God. That's how we got. And that's not how we got here to the video blog. Took me a long time to get here. But that's how we got to writing. So now, the next question is, how are you so transparent? How did you go from keeping your secrets in a book? And don't get me wrong, I don't tell y'all everything. But I do share some of the darkest, deepest things that happened to me. I do share those things. And most people would be like, ooh, I can't believe she shared that. But they don't say that. This is what they say. Wow, you're so transparent. Yes, I am. You know why? Because I am not my own. I am not. And the things that I have gone through in my life, God will get the glory out of them. All things work for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I've been called according to his purpose. And I love him. So it's all going to work out for my good. And for your good as well, because everything that I go through, I look for God. And when I stop looking for him, we in trouble. So it's easy for me to be transparent. As a matter of fact, I get the answer most of the time. So I wake up on a Saturday morning, having gone through something on Friday night, having gone through something on Thursday. Sometime through the week, I went through something. Okay? I went through something, and on Saturday morning, God may wake me up with a scripture. God may wake me up with a song, with something that will answer or give me clarity on what happened to me. And I get that by writing about it so you can read it, or videoing about it so you can read it or watch it. That's the truth. That's what Saturdays with God is about. That's what this whole thing is about. Giving God glory in my life through the struggles, through the hard times, and answering his call when he calls. God calls, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Lord? Don't get me wrong. Sometimes God calls, and I want to send him a text message. Say, hey, what's up? And he like, answer the phone. Do you do that too? Oh, okay. I thought I was the only one. But he's calling. I'm answering. Don't get me wrong, the end of last year, I stopped answering. I did. And I had to repent for that. Because I stopped writing. And I cannot keep stopping on this race we on. I can't. I was just telling somebody how much I admire their bounce back, their ability to bounce back. In that, whenever life comes and knocks them down, they don't stay down for very long. I'm pretty sure they have their moments. Don't get me wrong, everybody does. But for the most part, they have the innate ability. That fight that I was talking about last week, and if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. It's After Slavery, What Next? So watch that episode. But basically, it's this whole ability, this innate ability to When life comes, it says, and you fall down, the fight within them says, I'm getting back up because I got to keep going. I get knocked down and it's like, well, I'm down. Oh, Lord, I'm down. Help me. Somebody come see me. Help me get up. And God is like, get up. Get up. I got work for you to do. This is why he's calling. Stop texting him saying, I can't talk right now. Yes, you can. Talk to God. Talk to him. I promise you, everything you need, everything you desire, every lack you have is with him. It ain't with looking on Google and trying to figure it out. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not. Whatever. It ain't with nobody but God. Now, that's not to say he won't use somebody to come and help you or provide and give you what you need. That's not what I'm talking about. The source is him. And then he has resources where he resources it out. Okay? But the source is God. And he is calling you. He wake you up every morning with the same stuff. Telling you the same thing. The same thing every morning. God is waking you up every morning. Good morning. Don't forget to you need to call your mama. Good morning. You need to take care of this bill. Good morning. You need to do Every morning, God is calling. He's, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Every morning. Don't do like me. What I just described to you in this whole thing, it's a 40-year journey. 40 years. I'm 43. I learned how to read at a very early age. First book I read, the Bible. I don't know that I understood it at 3, but that's what I would take the Bible out to the backyard and sit in my rocking chair and read the Bible. You can call my mama on that one. It's very vivid. Like that memory is real. And I would spend time with God. So life, me starting and stopping, fear coming in, telling me I'm not enough, I'm not adequate enough, I don't have enough, I can't do it, you're not gonna make it, don't nobody want you. Heard any of those things lately? That is all fear and the enemy trying to stop you, trying to make you believe that you actually have to be everything, that you have to have all the strength, that you have to have everything you need to make something happen. You don't. And that's intentional. Because if you do it all on your own and you don't need God, guess what? No, there's a certain part that you're not going to have. God has it because he wants you to come to him. He's calling, he's knocking, answer. This is how we got to Saturdays with God. And I know not many people watching right now, but one day it's going to reach the masses. So I'm just getting ready. I'm getting better every time. I apologize, this one was extra long, but this is the background story of Saturdays with God. And for somebody, I hope you answer today. Answer the phone. Pick up the call. God is calling. Do whatever he's asking you to do. You say, I don't have the money. That's okay. Ask him for the next step. Okay, Lord, I ain't got the money, but I'm going to go. Okay, Lord, I don't know how to do it, but you tell me where to show up, I'll show up. And think he won't show up? He telling you to go. He got you. I promise. Now, next time we'll talk about, is that God telling you to go? We'll talk about how he is the shepherd and his sheep know his voice, and a stranger they will not answer. That's like my daughter. I can stop. I have to leave the room to do this video. She can't be in the room if she's trying to sleep, because she will wake up because she hears my voice. She knows my voice. Anybody else, they could be talking, she not fazed. Her dad, he's talking, she's waking up. She knows his voice. Other people, they could be in the room, they could be yelling. She's gonna stay knocked out because she don't know their voice. All right, that's enough. I hope you enjoyed today. I love you guys. Hope you have a beautiful Saturday. Answer! Bye.